Hey up everyone, so I'm looking very official because I've just been doing my news reporting, but I am actually doing lockdown attire where I've got my comfies on underneath. That's why I'm looking official, because I've been saying about the King and Queen's visit to Bradford. I was actually supposed to be reporting on it, but I had school run and it clashed with the timings. So instead I'm doing it from home with Athena fast asleep. But I really wanted to talk about mental health because Danny, my husband, as you know, has been so open, which is hard for him because he's like a typical Yorkshire man. He does not like to talk about feelings or being vulnerable, and certainly not about his stroke because it knocked his confidence big time. Like literally, it felt like we'd just got his lives together and we'd met at a really challenging time in our lives, good and bad. But it was like we were meant to be. And then we just had Athena. She was just a few months old. It was like we had his house, we were getting sorted, and then wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And he nearly died. I have to say it like that so I don't cry, because if I'm honest, I felt so angry about it at the time. I don't get angry actually. I need like the opposite of anger management because I don't get angry. But I was like, I go to church and I was just like, why now? But anyway, I want to talk about mental health because basically Danny's been very open, and normally I'm like the open book because literally you get what you see with me. You ask me anything and I'll tell you everything. Like, I'm an oversharer. That's one of my lovely neurodivergent traits. Neurodivergent is basically because I'm dyslexic, ADHD and lots of other things. I've got lots of tick boxes, but I'm just basically me with a very colourful mind. So where everyone else's mind might think of a grey elephant, I think of Elmer the elephant, patchwork colours. So life is always very fun and colourful, but the problem is before I accepted all that and I got help for all those different things, it really impacted my mental health because I had eating disorders growing up. I had lots of like violin stories, as I call them, just to like gloss over because I don't want to get too deep into my past. But yeah, and I had a lot to deal with growing up, not to mention the fact that being mixed race, and I was always a chunky monkey growing up and just curvy, and I just was different in every way, which is fine now. I love it now. But when you're growing up and it's those formative years, it's very hard. Like, I used to have my hair burnt, different things. I was like bullied to the max. And lots of other things happened in my life which led to court cases and stuff. Although when I talk about this, I was always the victim in it. I sound like I've been in like prison loads. But no, I was always the victim. I don't like that term victim because I think it makes you sound like you're inactive and you're passive to it, and I have been too passive in my life. But I like to more of a I'm a survivor, that kind of thing. Anyway, I had a massive mental health breakdown, and on paper, a bit like Danny, I guess, not to his level of success. I'm very much in his shadow. But I was working at BBC. I had on paper my career was finally making some weird way up, and like, yeah, I was a mom. I had lots of stuff going on, and on paper it all looked lovely, not to mention the fact I was a lot younger then, so you just generally look a bit fresher. But my mental health was really bad, like really bad. I don't even know how I did it. Every day I'd drive about like 4 a.m. in the morning to Salford to go to uni, to go to work, dropped my daughter off at Media City Nursery, and I thought, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to like live this life, but I was just keeping so busy to neglect myself and my feelings, and just to avoid, to escape. Long story short, this all went into like a big crescendo where I suffered from psychosis. It's acute polymorphic psychotic disorder. So you like, basically psychosis is more like an episode of different things. So it could be schizophrenia, or like what I had, it was without symptoms of schizophrenia. And I'm sure, because your mind's very clever, it takes on lots of traumas, and then if you don't process, or with me not having the wires in the right way, having the wires that everyone else I think's got brain wires that go like that, mine are like woo all the time, as you can see, because I'm actually sat down, but I'm having to go like this and move around because I don't sit down. But I can't work out how to do camera with watching Athena by my side, so I'm like sat on a pew. So if I suddenly fall off, I do apologise, although it would be quite funny, but you will see my manky feet. Look how gross they are, because I walk everywhere with bare feet. Anyway, I digress, and I better not say long story short, because Danny hates it when I say that, because I say it a lot, because I digress a lot, and then like, anyway, long story short, but I had a really bad time, and then I actually ended up homeless at one point, technically, and this is how weird things are in life. Like I always say, sparkle, because life is like a sparkle, light and shade, where you can kind of, it like can be really good in one point and really bad in another, and that can happen at the same time. But now I call it a sparkle, because I think the best people sparkle, and they're the people who've had birth. You've had the good, but often that's come out of the bad. And yes, I was doing a furniture campaign, got a free bed, all these things, all this furniture for a house, but I had no house. So yeah, it was all just a weird time. And I had to go to a homeless office, and then eventually I got help. I was able to buy a shared ownership property through the council, and actually that's what we've come back to now. So this is like my safe home sanctuary, really, but it's totally different now, because things are totally different, and I'm very big on vibes, and I've wafted a lot of sage in this place to get rid of any negative energy from past. But it is totally different now, because I remember here I'd got so much stuff going on in my life, so much abuse and trolling and harassment and just all those things, stalking, all those things. I looked on surface, oh well, she's writing columns, she's working at BBC, she's all right, but I was an absolute mess. I was really badly bulimic again. I'd already been hospitalised like years ago, and those who are bulimic know what it's like, because it's really difficult, because you're also dealing with the stigma of that, because you're not necessarily underweight either, and then so you're having everyone like, well, you ain't got an eating disorder, your face is all puffed up, but whatever. But it is just as destructive. Oh, my news is coming back on, because this is what I do every morning. I have the news on. Danny's actually away at the moment, so I'm fully embracing having my news on loud, because I distract him, because he likes to work in peace, whereas I have to have like Alexa on, news on, dancing, moving. But anyway, I suffered from bulimia really badly, had the acute polymorphic psychotic disorder. I mean, why they call it that, because tell me about when you're having like a mental health breakdown. You're like going, what are you diagnosed with? Well, the severe anxiety, depression, acute polymorphic psychotic disorder, and it does make you just sound like, I was like, I sound like I'm scary. I'm not, because basically more people with mental health issues end up being assaulted and attacked than they doing the attacking. So it's a common misdemeanor that people with mental health problems are dangerous. It's the other way around. They tend to be victims of crime. See, FYI, I always have to have these like little Sophie's facts of the day. And yeah, anyway, when I met Danny, I'd just started, I'd got a proper job at a newspaper, which I absolutely love. They could not be better with me, and my diversities. They embraced, the fact that I'm all the quirks on the tick box list. But things in my life were still really, really challenging at the time. And I was doing a lot better than I had been in the past, a lot less like breakdowns and stuff. But then something happened, and it was in my personal life, and I don't really talk about the kids out of respect, but it was just too much. But weirdly, that week, I'd got a call from BBC to go on, I think it was Sunday Morning Live, wasn't it, or something, some religious show, and to talk about my journey from church, and also belly dancing on Britain's Got Talent and doing a fun shimmy on TV. Because that was my past, was like belly dancing, and because that's always helped my mental health, and I still do it now. I just don't perform anymore because that's also a mental health thing that I just better to just teach. And I met Danny. I was actually interviewing him for my job as a reporter, and I remember meeting him in Crossgate Centre, and I like literally arrived a mess as ever, because my hair's a bit brushed this morning, because I was like, I am going to wear a new top I've just bought from charity shop. Look, I've just tucked in my bra and this, to try and look official, because I'm so taking this off after and putting on my casuals again, because I've got my community day today, and I do not do well in like smart wear. I do not like smart wear. I'm much better in like, so I can move around and stuff. And yeah, and basically I turned up meeting him. I had my pot on, because you can see my lovely wonky finger, because I just broke my finger in two places, because I went to a water park and thought I was a ninja, and swung onto the big like escape thing on the water, like the ninja warrior type thing, and I felt my finger crack. But this is where my brain, the autistic is always in like a fight, because if I've said I'll do something, I have to do it, and then even if I'm in pain, I know what you technically have to do, but then my brain will be like, just do it, you can't let it down, you've got to keep going. And I was like, oh. So I remember asking this guy, I said, excuse me, would you mind just clicking my finger back in? Because I think it's clicked out of place. And he was like, ooh. And anyway, I still did it. I still completed it, the big slide, and jumped off this big cliff thing. And then I'd spent the weekend there, tried to climb, which was too painful, but I'd put 2 lollipop sticks, and I thought that'd be all right. So anyway, my finger was badly broken, and eventually when it went a bit green, I thought I'd better go to a hospital, so I did eventually. But I turned up to meet Danny like with this pot on, and I was like Hook woman, Captain Hook. My hair was a mess, which it normally is, because I forget to brush it, because this is my thing in the morning. If I'm like get up, you're like, there's too many things. If something distracts me, I forget my process. I forget to brush my hair. It's like the other day I forgot to put my shoes on because I was helping Danny with his socks and shoes, but because I was in the process of doing mine, I then totally forgot to then put my own on. So then I ended up having to borrow his Crocs to run out into a shop because people look at me weird when I go out barefoot. I could just wear bare feet all the time. And yeah, so we met and it was a really good interview. He was so lovely. He had this like charisma. I was like, this is weird. Anyway, he interviewed me later on in a radio station because he said I'm going to turn tables. We ended up becoming friends. And then that weekend after meeting him was when something happened that was really challenging in my own life, and it was like the last straw. And I tried to end it all, and I was a bit of a mess. I had a meltdown. I think my body was in shock. And I was so grateful because somebody saw me on the road and helped me up. And then I still went and tried to. And again, I was saved because people just kept, it was really weird, people just kept seeing me. It was like I wasn't meant to go, and somebody was watching over me for sure because I'd just given up. And I won't go into that because I don't like to, I would never want to trigger people. But so things were really bad, they were that bad. But then, because I'm also rigidly, if I've committed to something, I'll just go, even when I'm absolutely so poorly in my mind. So I actually turned up to an event. It was ironically with the founder of Andy's Man Club, one on mental health, and I was just like there, just, you know, like a zoned out mess. But this is again my other head of pleasing everyone. I didn't want to let anyone down. I was supposed to be reporting on it. And then on the Sunday I went on TV shimming like, oh, look at this, and I was just a mess. But then a funny thing happened, because when I was booking this TV thing, I texted my friend who was coming with me, and my friend Daria, she's like always my support for everything. I've got Daria, Vic, Becky, I've got a few others, Marie, who just are like my sisters. And because I went to I text her about the hotel we were staying at for TV, and I was like, are you alright if we stay at this hotel on Saturday night? And I meant to text it to Daria, but it went to Danny, and because I put Da, and I just sent it, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and he saw it before I could delete it, so he called me. He's like, is this meant for me? Because I'm asking him about a hotel on Saturday night. I was like, I'm so sorry, because at this time he was still somebody I'd interviewed, and he'd interviewed me. We weren't even friends properly now. I was like, I'm so sorry. And then he was like, oh well, we should meet up for coffee anyway, because we got on really well. And it's weird how things happen, because then we started meeting up for coffees and stuff, and it gave me a bit of hope in this like really dark time, because you can get to a point, your mind plays tricks where you genuinely believe it's not worth carrying on. And I think that's why community is so important, because they give you a light at the end of the tunnel. They give you a bit of an insight outside of all that. And I just, like, there was something about him that he always gave me hope, because he was so positive and like respectful, and also for the first time ever, somebody who would just like boosting me up, saw my qualities rather than all my like issues and stuff. I think that's helped me to like accept all my little quirks as well. Probably too much now, because I'm like, I am who I am, I am who I am. And with him, I still had like mental health support from core team and stuff, and then I go to community allotment, apple tree allotment with spectrum people. That just helps. I don't actually do any digging, to be honest. I sometimes like pretend to like sow some seeds. I just walk or do yoga or do social media for them. And Coactive Charity, which I'm there today, they've been like a consistent thing throughout, because I lead the group, well, co-lead with adults with learning difficulties. I don't like lead, facilitate, because I'm not a leader, I'm more of a facilitator. Danny's definitely a leader, I'm a facilitator. And just all these things, and the rural community were just glimmers of hope that kept me going and kept me safe. My church round corner and stuff, and it's amazing because in the early days of our relationship, Danny was very much almost my carer mentally, because he was making sure for once I went to all my appointments, because that's the thing when you're not very well, you just think, no, it's fine, or I get too high where I'm like, I'm fine, I don't need any of this, and then, or I get really low like I don't deserve it, whereas he'd take me, he won't let me walk everywhere. I am like the lone rambler. I will literally walk anywhere. It's just annoying when motorways get in your way, which I found, and you can't cross motorways, note. And yeah, so he would insist on driving me everywhere, and I was like, I remember, this is what's so daft about trolls and stuff and how much they don't know you, because I remember the only thing that put me off in the early days, I loved the fact that he had this little prefab council house on a rough estate, which was similar to mine, but his car, because he had a proper Bobby Dazzler car when he turned up, and I thought, oh my days, on this estate I look like I'm getting into like a pimp's car, and that he's a drug dealer or something, and that actually put me off, because I was like, this is so embarrassing. And then I thought, I can't let him in my house because he'll see that I don't do this kind of thing. My only like designer products were DKNY bags from TK Maxx, which were my big treat, but luckily he was a nice person behind that, and we did actually lots of funny car shares and stuff, like videos at the time, but we just had fun, and we literally, it brought me back. I'd say we brought each other back, but I don't think since our childhood we'd ever properly been ourselves, like ever, because we'd all had so much stuff happen in our lives, and it was like this was meant to be, and yeah, he just like really helped by being that like rock for me. And eventually, like, you do become one, and you both take it in turns, you know, you go with the flow. I think I helped him to be more open and vulnerable, and it was the first time he'd done all that, and we just had fun and laughter. Honestly, I actually went to the dentist because my jaw got locked because we were laughing so much, not for anything else, by the way, yeah, and then obviously things did start to change. It was when I was pregnant with Athena I started to remember things changing, which now in hindsight you think, oh, that was probably the sign of the stroke coming. But that's his story to tell, not mine. And I think that's the thing with the stroke, how life works its way out. Like, we were meant to be, and it was like he was almost my carer at first, and now I'm his carer. But I guess it shows you how life works, because that's why we can all work together, and we need communities, because like Danny's always been the good one, like like mentally, strategy wise, doing admin, finances, all that. I'm just like a very like, I work really hard, and I just kind of like go with the flow. I'm very flowy, and moving around, and I get distracted easily, or my attention goes wee wee. So he's always like the organised one, the one making sure we're on time and all this, and get all what I say, the boring things, being girls do. But I need that, and then obviously with everything with the stroke, he, especially in the early days, he lost a lot of capacity physically, mentally. This on, yeah. I'm very impressed. I've actually managed to use a mic. And I, overnight, I guess, I kind of became his carer, and physically especially, and the thing is, he always thought you were a burden, and this shows you how your mind plays tricks. Like, if anyone knows me, I love running around after everyone. I am the mother hen. I love anyone come round. You will not leave without being fed, without snacks to take, without drinks. I am a feeder. I like to look after everyone, make food from scratch. I love just making sure everyone is okay and happy. So physically, that is absolutely fine, and I'm sure it's like why we're meant to be together, because I like run around all the time anyway. I'm happy doing all that stuff, and to him I think it's definitely challenging because he's lost a part of himself. But there were funny times in the early days as well where they're asking me to, like, because obviously there's like different games you can play, where you like, not kinky games, like NHS approved games. Do you know, like that memory game you used to play as a kid, and then you take an object and then you have to remember which object you take, and that kind of stuff. But me trying to play this with him to help him, and I'm like, I'm dyspraxic, like I can't do the jigsaw of my 2-year-old daughter, let alone remember what's gone. So I'm like, you tell me what's gone. So we had, like, even in like the really dark times, we've had a lot of laughter, and I think laughter helps everything. But it's amazing because it's really shaped us, because we have been through, like, if you just like almost like 50 years of life within a few years. And I think that just shows you how quickly life, no matter how bad things are, I'm not saying, oh, you'll meet everybody and happily ever, anyone and happily ever after, but you can just meet that person in your community, that friendship. There's so many different factors if you reach out for help. And I can't tell you, like, how broken I was. Like, I can't, I was broken, like broken. And to think that now come back, and it's not like, recovery's never like, oh yeah, I'm fine now, I've got no issues. I do. I still have a lot of issues and a lot of anxiety, a lot of social anxiety. There's certain things I don't do. Chit chat, I do chit chat. So this is where my two brains collide, because I want to please people, but then I've got social anxiety, so I don't want to go out. But then I do go out because my brain's really active, and like, I can't let people down. I've got to do this, I've got to move, got to this. So I'm constantly in conflict. So I'm constantly in a state of like fight or flight anxiety. So I do have my meltdowns still. I can kind of control them a lot better now. But that's more with my disabilities, or different abilities, as I like to say. But if you find the right people around you, and it takes time, it's like they say, like, date your therapist. Don't actually date your therapist, because that's unprofessional. But I mean, like, do you know, you find the right person for you. And the therapy might be, always obviously go GP and get official help, but then also like going to local community gardens. Like, I do not do gardening, but I love it. Going out on bike rides, I'm getting a bike, I want to do that. And doing different things, because you never know what will be your tonic and what your thing will be. And it's amazing, because even if other people have let you down, or you feel everyone hates you, there is always someone or something to pick you up. There is so many different little groups and stuff. Just find your people that make you flourish and who will be there for you no matter what, because I think that's the thing. You just need those people who will be there through the good and the bad, not just the gloss. You want them through grit as well. And anyway, I've waffled on now, and I better not say long story short again. But anyway, do look after your mind. Put yourself first. I've found getting up early helps me. Do my little routine of cleaning frantically, listening to my positive stuff, and also even the fact that I haven't been able to keep down a job. It's taken me a while to find something where they flow around me and it works. It actually, I can tell now my brain benefits them and how they can work. They've helped me, and so it's working with those people and meeting those people where you all complement each other. That's why I love Coactive Fridays. I have a community day at this charity, and I love it because we all have different abilities, but where I might struggle, somebody else is good, and you just learn to work together, and you learn to all embrace yourself, and you think, well, do you know what? I don't want to be normal, whatever that is, but that does take time. I'm not saying it'll happen overnight, and I'm not saying just meet someone and you'll be right. It takes a lot of work from yourself as well, but it is possible. There you are. It feels like I've had a right lesson. Right, I best get my coffee. She's still asleep. And I'm just sending you so much peace, love, shimmies, sparkles. Remember, as they say, it's okay to not be okay. No, it's not okay to be okay. No, it's okay. God, this is my dyslexia. This is what happened when we got married. I couldn't say till death us do part, or till death do us part, or this is what happened. And then I nearly couldn't get married because I couldn't say the vowels in the right order. But basically, it's okay. Just talk about your mental health. It's okay to not be, it's one of those things. It is okay to be like me and struggle, because there are things like community that will always help. I better go now. Bye.